All right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live on a Wednesday edition of Couch Coach Live. We're here under the lights here. What's going on, Maui?
Oh man, another week, another day, but I'm here
Yeah,
to
yeah,
talk
most
about
definitely.
the two legendary. Well, I know your favorite division is coming up, so you think we gonna be on here for 2.5, 3 hours a day like we did
Yes.
last year?
No, I don't think it's be as bad as it was last year because I think it was a lot of trash talking. I think the guys to the right of us, we have common interests, so there won't be a New Jersey person, a team from the Arlington football team representative, or a fail Eagle fail person here. So I think I think
Hey,
we gotta steal in three commanders. I think it's
shout
gonna go
out
very
to
smooth.
Cool though. I'm gonna be honest with you. Shout out to Cool because he told us by the end of the season that look, come on, coach, don't do that, man. He said
No, he all right.
end of the
Yeah.
season that the Eagles was going to make the playoffs in some type of way, and I didn't even see that coming.
Trust me, I'm constantly reminded. So and to his credit, yeah, it was 2021, but this year could be a potentially different story. He got high expectations for this team as well, so
Yeah.
he could be wrong this year like he was wrong last year. So we'll see. So, as I mentioned, we had a Steeler and three Commanders. We got our guys from the
Right.
Weekly Audible. I got Justin and Ryan. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on? How you guys doing?
Good. What's going on, Ryan?
Appreciate you boys for having me on, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Coach. Anytime I can talk to another DC guy, I'm going to do it.
Facts, for sure.
Have a
Absolutely.
Mm,
girl.
mm.
So tonight we're going to continue our ninth annual Couch Coach Live NFL preview. We'll be previewing the East, the AFC East, and the best conference, best division in NFL, the NFC East.
They
So
don't
we'll
call it the
preview
NFC
that.
Beast for nothing, man.
Correct. Correct. It is by far the best division in all the sports.
It's a gauntlet.
Right. Everybody hates us. Everybody hates us, but they want to be us. So we are here. All eyes are on us
Woo.
on this division.
Yeah,
Trust me.
mm.
Trust me. So we're gonna get that started. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna kick that intro and then we'll be right back. And we're gonna get you going with the East previews, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back here, and as promised, we're gonna do our NFC and AFC East preview. So we are back at it, guys. So another preview edition of our ninth annual NFL preview, a ninth edition of Couch Coach Lives. There. So we're going to start off first. We'll go around the horn, fellas. What's the biggest storyline in AFC East? I'm gonna go with you first, Trotter. What you got? The big storyline in AFC East.
I feel like we're talking AFC East. Everything obviously all signs are pointed to the Miami Dolphins. I mean, there's nothing really other big storyline other than if Buffalo can keep being that number one dog up in the AFC East. But you got to just go with the biggest storyline out there right now. Tyreek Hill goes to Miami. Is Miami actually going to be a contending team in the AFC East or just the AFC in general? A lot of people are going to think they're going to do something, but you still got to look at Tua. What's Tua going to do with now that he's got studs around him? Tyreek Hill, Mike Gesicki, even though now on the trade deadline, if still there, you never know. They got a handful of running backs now as well, starting with Raheem Mostert coming from San Francisco. That's got to be the biggest storyline, especially coming in the AFC East that has been ran by New England for so long, and now Buffalo is now that new top dog in the AFC East. What is Miami going to do with the addition of Tyreek Hill, with the addition of all their players on defense, with the Xavier Howards and the Byron Joneses? What is Tua going to do? Is he going to step up, or is he going to keep being mid as possible?
Justin, what's your big storyline in the AFC East?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Hill, everything, but honestly, I like Buffalo. You know, they're going for the kill. They went out, they signed Von Miller. On top of that, they got Elam out of the draft too, first-round corner. And honestly, I think O.J. Howard could be a sneaky play for Buffalo as like a 2 tight end set there with Dawson Knox. James Cook too. Like they were just really just that one overtime away with the Chiefs from going to the Super Bowl. And it's going for it all. It's interesting also that they lost Dable. So I think that could also be the biggest storyline as far as, you know, if Josh Allen can continue that. But, you know, I'm all in on Buffalo. I just think by far the biggest storyline was that they just continue to bring in the top dogs, add to it.
Yeah. And Bowie, your AFC East biggest storyline?
Yeah, it's a couple. Since everybody went, you know, the Bills and Dolphins, I'm going to go ahead and just throw out there about the Patriots. Like, you know, if they don't do well, because I don't even have them really, you know, doing well. Like I'm almost like a laughing stock this season. So are people going to start looking at Bill Belichick? Maybe it's time to make a move. Because like even like I don't even think he got calling his coordinators. It's something weird going on with that. It just seemed like it's just a lot of maybe we're going to try this, and he really don't have a plan. But it is Bill Belichick. Maybe he'll sneak out. Maybe, you know what I mean? I hate to say that, he'll figure out something. But, you know, as you get older, things changed. And I remember Bill Belichick before he had Tom Brady. Do you? It seemed like people forgot. You know what I mean? But I'm going to be honest with you. The biggest storyline is the Dolphins. They done gave Tua basically everything, even dealing with the drama. You know, we could talk about that maybe some other time because I heard some information about that. It just was weird to me about the owner, and there's a new owner that's supposed to be, they selling the team, and this new owner is supposed to be friends with Tom Brady, and maybe they setting everything up for next year. But, you know, we don't know. From what it seemed like, they done spent some money and got some things setting up for this team. So they're definitely going to be dominant. If not this year, definitely the years to come. But the question mark is always going to be Tua. It's going to be Tua. You know what I mean? And if it ain't Tua, it's Teddy Bridgewater. Which one you want? Which one you want? Come on now.
Two gloves.
You know, they got, you know, like I said, they got Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Mitchell. They got Raheem, right? I said it right, Raheem?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. They got him. They got they got the line. They got everything. They seem like they have everything. It's just all with this new coach that seemed like he's loving the camera in his face, and Tua.
They can literally run. They're gonna. I'll bet you, guarantee you, they got 4 running backs on their roster right now. That every single one of them is going to touch the ball. Mostert, Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel. Pretty sure Gaskin's still there as well. So literally, there's no reason for all 4 of them to be on the field, but they're going to be.
And you got this coach that's supposed to be under all these offensive brilliance, you know. And I'm wondering if that might even save Tua. But yeah, definitely the Dolphins is the biggest story in this division.
I will say,
Mike
a fantasy sleeper is Chase Edmonds in that offense.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel is apparently really loving Chase Edmonds at camp and everything. So, you know, don't be surprised. He's a solid PPR pick up there if he wants to backfield. But
to be honest with you, from what I'm seeing about the coach is that he's not a negative coach. He's and that's the whole thing people don't understand. It's like, you know, I should tell some bosses that's old school, you don't have to go hard all the time. You know what I mean? Sometimes just be, you know, find out the things that they're good to get good motivation. Like even Raheem, like I was looking at his stats and I was like, well, damn, you know what I mean? It was horrible. Like, you know what I mean? I was like,
all I know is Tua has no excuse, and if I'm tired of seeing his name in the headline just because I'm not a Tua fan. Sorry for anybody out there, but like when you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and 4 running backs on your team with now a solid above average offensive line, like your time's up if you can't do anything at this point.
Me being a Steeler, you know what I smell? Ooh, Baker Mayfield. Sorry.
Well, yeah, and Mike McDaniel, we know him obviously. Another Mike Shanahan disciple, you know. But yeah, I digress on that point.
We don't need to go down that road.
I know I've been down that rabbit hole for the
so tired of that graphic.
I do, and it makes me. Oh gosh, it angers me. It's almost like one of my boys. He sent me that, and I almost blocked him. I was like, man, I don't want to see that again. I see that every January. I literally, when there's a coaching carousel, they always bring that up, and I'd be like, we know this, we live this experience. Like, it's okay.
And in our defense, like QB coaches, like tight end coach, like they don't get promoted like that, like right off the rip, like
right.
But of course, we get the worst screwed, and like
we do, you know, we do. But it is what it is. But I mean, it is what it is. But I think that my storyline for the AFC East is Super Bowl or bust for Buffalo. You know, Buffalo's story used to be what I call cute. You know, in 2018 when they won, when they clinched their first playoff since 2001, that the Music of the Miracle. Oh, we used to love that, and now this ain't cute no more. You have to win a Super Bowl. Like this isn't, we rooted for this Buffalo Bills team. Oh, it's a great story. No, this is it for this team. I mean, that this year, 2022, but the storyline is they have to do it. I'm really curious, like you talked about the Brian Daboll, our guy, the legend Ken Dorsey, what he will drum up in this offense, where you'll see, and that's another one where the transition from him being the quarterback's coach and getting elevated. You wanted to see what he can do in that position. Obviously, you guys talked about Tua and Tyreek. That's definitely, and hopefully Tua can be healthy. That's the biggest thing now is can he stay healthy? Can the Patriots make the playoffs? Like that's one thing too, where now Mac Jones in his second year and see how that goes, and then no one talked about the Zach Wilson, the photogenic young man that'll probably be in your 6th grade algebra book,
right?
As far as this meniscus injury, which typically they said 2 to 4 weeks, but we're looking at it's probably gonna be more than 2 to 4 weeks. So just see what he can do, and hopefully he can get back on the field in time to somewhat make an impact, because I'm gonna say the clock is ticking in Gotham City, but it's starting to get there.
People already have the scouting report on Zach Wilson, whether he's healthy or not. The opposing team just knows as long as none of their mothers show up to the game, they're fine.
I was thinking the same thing, man. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
and did interesting insult with that? Why Dak? That's Dak's mom. I was like, bro, come on. Like, I swear to God, I feel like everything that be happening, all these issues that be going on in the NFL, why it always come back to Washington? I swear to you, I feel like everything is got a Washington effect, and it's kind of like, why?
Because that's how your brain. That's how your brain thinks.
Actually, I will say, I think for like another storyline is just if you're now actually looking at their other 3 teams outside the Patriots, are they failing Mac Jones around him? Every other team within that division has gone out and gotten weapons for their young quarterback. And the best the Patriots have done so far is get 2 tight ends for him. I mean, Kendrick Bourne? It's
Devontae
just
Parker.
Put some respect on Javante Parker's name, bro.
Okay, come on.
I mean,
you're just knocking Tua for his health. Like, you can't be talking about Devontae Parker like that.
I'll give him one thing though. I mean, I know Patriots have never been in this speed factor. Like when you think of a fast team, you never think of speed. Their 2nd round pick, Tyquan Thornton from Baylor, is a speedster. 4.26, I think, in the combine or something like that.
He was a beast.
I mean, he's gonna outtake Aguilar's spot in the slot easily.
it's no hill to the Dolphins. Like, I mean, even the
right.
Jets.
Yeah, I agree. But
Garrett Wilson, maybe a new toy. Who'd they take in
Yeah.
the first round? They took a lineman in the first round.
Yeah, Cole Strange, man. He's
Cole
playing right so
Strange.
far.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Just really think about that. Like, what really are the Patriots doing? It's just so strange. Maybe Mac is just going to be that quarterback that can make his wideouts better, but I mean, it can't help going in this young, like 2 years into the league, having these kind of guys. Like, you need somebody at least, especially through the draft.
Yeah. I have nothing to say because I'm sitting there like, I think he just had a gold. He just had a gold mine having that quarterback that he had, and then even Josh McDaniels. And it's just Bill. Like, who else? Like, when you have you got Bill and you got Josh McDaniels, right? And then Bill's a dickhead asshole, or he's a mute or whatever. Then Josh can say, hey, look, man, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Where there's balance. And I don't feel any of that with the Patriots. It just seemed like they lost it confused. You know what I mean?
Well, that was my other storyline, was just Bill not naming an OC. I mean, that,
right.
I mean, you're talking about, again, failing. I don't want to say it just yet because it's, again, only a second season, but like what they're doing recently is just so many question marks, and it doesn't feel like the old New England Patriot way.
Yeah, because I thought Matt Patricia was a defensive guy, and I know Joe Judge was a special teams guy. And I'd be
we've seen the Giants. Let Joe Judge call the plays.
Right, and that's my thing. Like, you might as well bring Jason Garrett back from NBC and bring him with them.
Like, I don't know. I'm just not used to seeing it. It's what you were saying earlier. I almost want to say they don't make the playoffs, but it's hard not trusting Bill.
Hard not to.
How can you?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll discuss them momentarily.
I had to throw that at you.
Yeah. So, breakout player in the AFC East. I'm going with you first, Ryan. Your breakout player in the AFC East.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here talking about New England and how much they suck, but like, there's one really big player we haven't talked. I mean, we mentioned Devontae Parker, we mentioned Kendrick Bourne, but like, why are we not talking about Jacoby Myers? Like, the dude was a dog, even like with the least experience of a rookie quarterback. Like, Jacoby Myers he produced really well. I know he didn't get in the end zone all that much, but I really like Jacoby Myers. Outside of that, the biggest breakout player on paper right now in the AFC East is Gabe Davis. Like, as much as you don't want to hear it because he's everybody's chalk fantasy player right now, you got no Emmanuel Sanders, you got no Cole Beasley. All you got is Stephon Diggs on one side and Gabe Davis on the other side. Granted, I know they have Jamison Crowder in the slot. They got him in the offseason. But at the same time, Gabe Davis in a much bigger role. He proved to you in the playoffs that he can do something in that amazing Chiefs game. So I don't think he's going to ever get that sort of production again. But I definitely think he's going to get a way bigger role this year. But that's just definitely the chalkiest pick. And just quickly, I'm assuming we're just doing offensive players. On defense, Jalen Phillips, I really love. He's outside linebacker from Miami, 8.5 sacks last year. Got taken pretty high for everybody's thoughts with the injuries concerns coming out of Miami. But I really, really like Jalen Phillips. I really like the front seven of Miami. I think that's going to keep them in a lot of games this year.
Yeah. All right. What you got, Justin?
I mean, yeah, I'm going rookie here, but bear with me. I want to say James Cook.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, no. I'm not. I'm not on the Breece Hall train just yet, especially just, during preseason, the touches a little worry me. But no, James Cook, listen, Buffalo has been desperately searching for a running back. Just somebody go along Josh Allen. That way he doesn't always have to take the hits. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, they aren't that guy. James Cook is that guy right next to Josh Allen. I think he completely takes over the backfield and he's going to be able to take off the pressure off the whole offense if Buffalo is able to have a running game and Allen's not sitting there throwing 30, 40, 50 times every single week because it's always a shootout. But yeah, I'm really just all in on James Cook. I know it's a rookie, maybe a stretch, but I think if Buffalo can add a massive running game, it'll be through him.
What you got, Maui?
I mean, I got a stretch. I usually pick offensive guys, but I got two. The first one was actually my breakout was Mac Wilson from that came from the Browns to the Patriots. I was looking at his stats, And then I was thinking of the Browns, how they had a lot of talent, and his stats don't look that good. But I was watching him. I said with Belichick, I think he's going to be a big weapon. He's going to be used the way he's supposed to be used. And the other one, I got Raheem. That came for the 49ers. Same thing. Like he can't lose. Like his stats was horrible for the 49ers, you know. And I'm like, with this guy supposed to be an offensive guru. It's a lot of weapons there, but he's definitely going to say, hey man, where this guy come from? You know what I mean? Because he's a speedster. So those are my two breakout stars. Breakout players for the AFC.
It's really hard to go against Raheem Mostert and his tape, man. He's just so fast. He's going to be one of the fastest players on the field for them, but it just falls back on his health. I agree. He's going to be a breakout, and I think he definitely can be. But it's like the war of who's healthier in Miami at the running back position. Like you got Sony Michel, who's had injury concerns. You got Raheem Mostert, who's got injury concerns, and you got Chase Edmonds, who's got injury concerns. So as long as they stay healthy, I definitely agree with that.
Right.
Yeah, Maserati gonna be all right. Yep. It's funny you brought this up a little bit earlier, Ryan. So you kind of it was a perfect segue. So you had Gabe Davis, Jamison Crowder.
There you go.
I think, and it's funny because, like you said, because Gabe, especially consider the fact now because obviously Gabe Davis had those 4 touchdowns in that Kansas City game. People are gonna really key on him as well. Also with Stephon Diggs. So I think Jamison Crowder is going to have a Cole Beasley type effect on his offense. So I think he's definitely going to be a guy that he's going to get some good looks. I'm not necessarily saying he's going to be 1,000-yard receiver, but he's going to be a guy that you're going to game plan eventually down the road. I'm not saying maybe September 11th you're going to game plan for him, but down the road, maybe when you go to Arizona in February, Western New York folks know Niagara Falls to Arizona. Don't make that trip quite yet. Wait till like October. And I'll let you know if you need to make that trip.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna be a guy that people are gonna look at. He's gonna be a guy. He's gonna be like an X factor. I think he's gonna be a guy that people are really gonna be keen in because, like you said, to your point, Ryan, as far as Gabe Davis, I wouldn't say he's arrived yet, but he's putting people on notice. So you know. I definitely like in that trio right there with Diggs, Davis, and Crowder. I think they're gonna do some damage. Like obviously your point with them bringing in Cook, Dalvin's brother. That's another dimension where that was a thing where. Can I bring in the Washington angle real quick? Just 2 seconds. But like when they were gonna get JD McKissick, I was like, oh boy, like that's gonna be key for them. So that's one of those where. They need that running back, and I think that's one of the things where you'll see like a James Cook impact immediately, and you won't see it like someone on the stat sheet, but when it's time like to progress the ball sometimes, and they have some little spurts, it ain't gonna be many spurts, but he'll be able to kind of move the chains to help this team and add another dimension to the Buffalo Bills. But yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention to your point also, and this is just a touch on Crowder. He proved in New York when he got to the Jets with, obviously with poor QB play, he can be someone you can rely on out of the slot, quick slants, can get yards after the catch. The only other thing that you got to realize too, or something to just keep in mind of with Crowder, he might not even be the starter going into the regular season because one guy we didn't talk about in Buffalo is Isaiah McKenzie. I personally would take Crowder over McKenzie, but apparently McDermott loves McKenzie's game so far. Yeah. He's had a great camp. He's pretty much already have said he's going to be the Cole Beasley type player, but I'm with you. I would much rather have Crowder in that role. Way more experience, way better hands, and way better health too.
And you know what's scary about Buffalo? It's like somebody's going to get cut from this team. That's like somebody's going to be like, he might get cut at 8:59. His agent can call him at like 9:01 with an offer. Somebody, it's gonna be multiple guys that potentially get cut. That Bills team is deep in so many positions. Like guys gonna get cut and they're gonna find jobs. They ain't gonna go hungry for long.
For sure.
That's what happens when you're contenders and you just get vets all the time.
Yep.
Do you think with the new offensive coordinator, that it's going to hurt Josh Allen, especially with the relationship that he had with his last one?
Not one.
You think that's going to be a big deal?
I don't think they skip a bit.
Not one week.
Because he's a QB. Ken Dorsey was a QB coach, so
Yeah.
I think he's going to be. Yeah, I think it's the best thing for him. Really.
Was he
This
not
is
the
their-
one too that fixed Allen's throwing motion? Was it Dorsey that ended up doing it? Somebody early. I didn't know if it was him or not, but I was going to say.
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
he's been in the quarterback room, so I mean, anything. I'm sure as far as the relationship that he had with Dable, I think Dorsey would be able to step right in, but I think it's just more so, adding Cook, getting the Crowder, McKenzie's, Davis. Like Allen has so many different avenues to go down. It's ridiculous. Like I mean, it couldn't be any more of a Super Bowl bust type season.
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna be legit.
They got weapons all over the field, man. And not even talking about like they drafted Khalil Shakir in the draft, who's from Boise State, who's another speedster. He's gonna be he's probably gonna be their kick returner this year, if I had to guess.
Right, and that's and we just scratched the surface on their depth. Like, if we did like a deep dive, you think to yourself like, damn, like all these guys gonna be on this team come next week. It's crazy.
I mean, we didn't even talk about their defense.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't even need to.
Right. And now they get a guy that could get pressure on the quarterback. Now when you got like you got a Patrick Mahomes who can go from Kansas to Missouri in the pocket, without getting scathed, you got a guy like a Von Miller who's gonna be right there and meet him at the quarter, meet him there. So you get a guy like a Von Miller. Oh boy,
Timmy Settle in the middle too.
Yes,
you said Jalen Phillips though. I wouldn't be shocked about maybe Greg Russo though. Greg Russo is a dog off the edge right across from Von Miller. So it's just,
yes, and right, and it's crazy to think they lost like Starler too, and this is like okay, like right, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's so crazy how deep this Buffalo Bills team is. Just like you think to yourself, like, man, they lost some guys, but then you're like, they got Von Miller, Tim Settle, and that just adds that depth to that defensive line.
Russo,
so it's almost like
Epinesa, like they got
and
hella
all
bodies.
of them, and all
They
of
got
them, like
all of that too.
It's just like they really can literally rotate that defensive line, and it's just like they're gonna create havoc. Like it's
and every year choke up in that playoffs. Every year. Every year. I ain't trying to be mean.
Improved, though. They went from but it's been a progression.
It has.
It has been a progression. So I definitely think, especially that Von Miller, can definitely help out because I guarantee
that's a big thing.
I guarantee you, and forget the overtime rules and this, that, and the third. Von Miller would have got a couple hits on Patrick Mahomes. He would have got some hits on him. So you get him, and I'm gonna say that's all you need, but that's another one where you think to yourself, that's really the only thing that Buffalo is really missing beside a running game, and then also the pass rush. Like as far as getting penetration on the line, they got it now. So it's just like.
He's also just a good locker room presence for those younger guys. Like you have Russo and Epinesa who are 22, 23 years old who can learn from Von Miller. Like, what more do you need?
He's fresh off the ring too. Like
exactly.
Like, he's literally just like, hey, I just did this. Listen to me. But I mean, you talk about Buffalo. Go down their whole roster. There's not another roster that's better than them. Like Tom Brady's, Mahomes, like. Skill position wise, everything. They don't even have Tre'Davious White until he gets healthy. Like, good lord.
We hadn't even talked about an all-pro safety, a corner. We didn't talk about
Poyer, Micah Hyde.
Micah Hyde. We talk about any of them. We still talking about the man. I'm telling you.
Actually, you know what? I think that could be the breakout player. Is actually I'll even go with the other one, Jordan Poyer. I feel like he is so disrespected as a safety sometimes, but. It's the whole Bills defense. Everybody feeds off of each other.
It's an all-star lineup. It's and the crazy thing about it, he's all pro, and people sleep on him.
Pro Bowl voting is going to be the whole Bills roster.
Yeah, exactly.
Bills and Rams,
it's
pretty
crazy.
much.
Yeah,
essentially. Right. So, dark horse team in the AFC East. What you got, Ryan?
Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't call the Patriot. I mean, you can't call the Bills a dark horse. You can't really call the Dolphins a dark horse team either.
Right.
Like You could slap me across the face if you catch me saying the Jets are a dark horse team. That's just not going to happen. I like the moves the Jets made. I love their drafts. I mean, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, obviously. It's really, really bad. You can't go against how great of a draft they did. I love Saleh as a coach. I just don't think they're there yet. They got a lot of pieces that they still need, especially across that O-line, and it sucks that Becton's down. Yeah, I really liked Mekhi out of college, but he's just getting unfortunate with the injuries. But as of right now, it's got to be the Patriots as the dark horse team in the AFC East. You can't bet against Belichick and everything that he's gone through in his career. And, we talk about how great the Bills roster is. I mean, if you go down the Patriots roster, it's honestly not even that bad. It's just how Mac Jones maneuvers the offense. They're still going to be fine on defense. They still have great players on defense, like Lawrence Guy. They have Matthew Judon, who just came after a great year. You bring Gajo over from Miami. You got Christian Barmore in the draft. Then you got guys like you said, Maui, Mac Wilson, who I loved at Cleveland. Kyle Duggar is a fantastic safety. Jalen Mills is a pretty above average safety. Now moving to the safety position. They're still going to be that dark horse team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think that's still up in the air, but it's definitely not as unanimous as we could have said in years past with the Patriots. But with a Belichick ran team, it's hard to say that they're not going to make any sort of momentum or any sort of movement come this season. So it's got to be the Patriots. Yeah.
And fun fact, Ryan, me and Mekhi Becton went to the same high school, but obviously not at the same time. But obviously awesome. he was way, I was way before him. But but shout out to Mekhi.
My boy
Becton.
Justin right here in this chat, and he could tell you about how he got dunked on by Shady McCoy in high school.
Chill. I threw Shady and Noob. I threw Shady and Noob. Me and Shady go back to LA Fitness.
Shout out to Harrisburg way, bro.
Yeah. Justin, who you got your dark horse?
Jets, honestly. Listen, Zach Wilson fails. Bring in Joe.
The Dragon.
He's elite. But either way, the point is, if Zach Wilson just makes a bit of a jump, there's enough skill position or players around him to at least get something going on offense. It's tough for me to say because I hate betting against Bill Belichick, but I just feel somewhat of a culture change under Saleh at least. And I like how they sprinkled in some veterans on defense, mixed in with, the Sauce Gardner. Jermaine Johnson's a complete stud. I have no idea how he fell, honestly, like that late in the first round. But, I mean, sliding him right along Carl Lawson, Solomon Thomas, Quinnen Williams too, they have a solid foundation. It's laughable and easy to make fun of because it's the Jets. But, I truly think they can be a dark horse team. And maybe a 1-2 punch for a breakout player would be, if Zach Wilson can take that jump or, Denzel Mims comes up like that, something like that. But there's enough skill position players on that team where we just need something from Wilson. If he gives it to us, I can see him above the Patriots.
The only respect I'll ever give the Jets was their offseason, other than their draft. They made some great moves on defense, especially on their front seven, man.
Right.
I mean, not even just who they signed, but more along the lines of just getting back healthy players. Like Quinnen Williams was injured. CJ Mosley didn't play. Then you go out and get veteran presences like a Quan Alexander, a Vinny Curry, a Sheldon Rankins. Like they have the veteran players. They have a great front seven.
Joyner re-signed.
I just can't put it to myself to think that they're going to make any movement.
I know it's just again because the Jets, but it's almost like the Walmart version of the Lions. You have Saleh, who's almost like the Dan Campbell, just new face. He's trying to bring that new energy to that city and everything, but the fire's just not getting going yet. Campbell's got Detroit lit up. Maybe this year he gets it going, but again, it's literally all in Zach Wilson. This is all him here. They've done well around him.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, great value is all right. I mean, it's a decent brand.
Man.
Love Walmart.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I can't. I'm done.
Yeah. What you got, Maui?
I'm gonna do it quick. Like I agree with both of y'all, man. I put Miami, but listening to y'all, you're right, man. Like it could easily be the Patriots, like because like from what I see, he got a lot of players that didn't that needs an opportunity. You know what I mean? A lot of it's just based upon the quarterback. Even the Jets, even the Dolphins, like they got everybody, but at the same time, like how good is Tua going to be? Though that might push actually help the Jets if he's not doing as good because Teddy Bridgewater's okay, but you know what I mean? Like if they come on, man. You know what I mean? Like like if it's still that opportunity that he could figure out, hey, let me keep y'all disciplined and then next thing you know, what I got the Dolphins got what I got the Dolphins winning, that might be the Patriots now the Jets is different. I do feel like in a few years they feel like they build for their future, but they got Flacco, right?
Yeah.
Mike White do.
Mike White, yep. Yeah,
There he is.
So
The truth.
I'm not gonna knock Flacco because he has won the Super Bowl. He's won one or two.
He's got one.
He's got one, right?
Thanks to Jacoby Jones.
This is my thing. They got a lot of young weapons. So, like, if they were able to listen to him, along with the coach, maybe they could put something together. I mean, I'm not, when sometimes you got Zach Wilson, who's a couple years older than him, but does he really have that leadership? Is he a Joe? Is he a Burrows? Like, I mean, they just said he slept with somebody, his homeboy's mom's. Like, no disrespect, you know what I mean? But they got to be side-eyeing him like, yo, you can't come over for Thanksgiving, B. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Nah. Hey,
I kind of like the Uzuma signing actually for the Jets though too.
Yeah,
but
it's always good
like
for
a
young quarterback to get that somewhat vet tight end.
Right.
And I like the young weapons because I think that's maybe why a dark horse. Like
and then
in 2-3 years,
having somebody
they just bang
right. That's why I said it looked like they kind of like build for the future, but at the same time, these are some young studs, man, that they got that they might be to make a little run. Like I got them low. Like we're gonna talk about it the minute I got them low, but I think easily they might be able to pull out some stuff. It's a bunch of teams that in this league right now. The Lions, it's a few teams that's kind of reminding me of the Jets. You know what I mean? Like that you can see that they're starting to grow. You know what I mean? Now we do need to see more from, like I said, for Wilson, but at the same time, it's you can get another quarterback in there that might, you know what I mean? Like he might be to turn up a little bit with these weapons that they got,
Yep. I'm not going to sit here either without ignoring him. Like I got to give credit and respect to Elijah Moore before we even go any further as well for how having to deal with a rookie quarterback dealing with struggles last season and with the injuries with other backups going in. Elijah Moore put up very, very good numbers his rookie year.
Well, don't forget the backfield too. I mean, they just took in, Breece Hall, but Michael Carter,
Evan Coleman,
Ty Johnson, Ty Johnson had some solid games last year too. It's just not on paper maybe the most attractive roster, but it's just some guys that will play hard for you on Sundays.
I'm gonna shout out the organization because let's just talk about a couple years ago how bad the Jets really looked. Yeah, as an organization, and then to have a draft like that, like you don't really hear. For every few years you hear something crazy about the Jets, and it just seemed like now they're quiet, taking their time, they building for their future step by step.
Yeah, for sure, I agree.
Yeah.
Always helps when you don't have Adam Gase as your head coach.
True. And so the dark horse, I think, man, it's got it. Like I think the Jets are a fascinating team. They're my Sunday ticket type team, where it's like they'd be fun to watch, but I think they'll lose a lot of games. But I definitely think I like the direction they headed. Most definitely.
I agree.
But it's got to be the Patriots. I think the Patriots, they just remind me of that cat in the alley that's probably on his fourth or fifth life. It's something where I don't want to say that the Patriots are done because we said that song and dance last year, and look what happened. They ended up actually going to the playoffs last year, even though they lost to Buffalo. But
right,
I don't know. It's just weird about this Patriots team. They find ways. Like even though this team has never been I think probably even in the honestly, even in this 20 some plus year run they've had, they really never had the best team on paper. Pretty much in any year that we've ever previewed. I know at least in the 9-year history of this show, or the 8-year history of this show, Patriots have never really had the best team from a paper from from top to bottom. And this is another indicative of how this team could be again. Obviously, you look at it is kind of sucked that Malcolm Butler got hurt and he's out for the year. I thought that was going to be a good pickup for them. Then after losing like a J.C. Jackson, but then I think, like you said, we talked about Devontae Parker. I think he'd be solid for Tua. Not Tua, Lord, to say Tua. For Mac Jones. Jabril Peppers a guy I think that's really going to be sneaky good. A guy that's really going to definitely, and obviously he was part of Joe Judge's regime in with the Giants. So I think he's going to be a guy that I think he could be that lunch pill kind of guy, the guy that can make some plays on this Patriots defense. And then just the uncertainty of, even though we talked about like who's going to be calling the plays offensively, I think that's his preseason. And with Bill Belichick, it's hard to question him in a sense because of what he has already done. I mean, regardless of what people may think of the scandals or whatever, but I would trust him more than I would trust most coaches as far as these type of plays. Like, if it was some other coach, I would be kind of like, y'all can't figure this out already. But that their team you can't count on. Even last year, when it's just weird because like that Monday night game when they beat the Bills, it's like ebb and flows, and it's gonna be a lot like this year where we thought, oh man, like the Patriots are back and the Patriots this, because I remember that game and everybody was like, oh, Buffalo is horrible, Buffalo suck, but then look what ended up happening. Buffalo ended up going on that run and beat them twice in like 3 weeks because they played them the week before Christmas, and then they ended up playing them in the wild card. So
yeah, let's not sweep under the rug the fact that they also just didn't beat them. They won 45-10.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Right. They destroyed them. Yeah, they destroyed them. Right, and I'm talking about that. And then even that game that the Sunday before Christmas, that was another one where they. That was a closer game, but like you said, they got destroyed in that game. Yeah,
well, I think it's also maybe just Bill sending a message. Like, look at the wins. Like, it's all like Mac Jones didn't do that much in that 45. Like, he's trying to do it maybe on the defensive side and maybe just to show like, hey, I don't really need the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, I know what the hell I'm doing on the defensive side. Give me whoever on offense. Let's run it. And I mean, even going through the Brady years, if you think about it, outside Randy Moss, has he really done that much? But you can name Hall of Famers on the defensive side that have signed free agent wise for Bill Belichick. So I mean, like I think it's more of that defensive mindset where it's like, yeah, defense wins championships. Yeah, we'll take Hunter Henry. He'll probably lead our team in targets. Like, yeah, Kendrick Bourne. Like, give me whoever. We'll win. And it's just like they could win every single game next year, probably like 9-6, like 9-3, like maybe just go field goals. Like they'll win. They can win so dirty just like that. Like maybe that's just how Bill
say they
goes.
got 2 running backs who can go for 100 yards a game too.
Yeah. So it's weird, but transitioning, fellas. We got here the hot take for the AFC East. I know I got a mild one. Anybody got any hot takes?
Tyreek Hill doesn't get over 1,000 yards and doesn't even get over 5 touchdowns.
Oh, spicy.
You're damn right. You heard me straight.
I got a quick one.
No, Tua's not good, and you're gonna find out why.
Get him. Throw it to him. I got one real quick.
Hating, and then there's that.
Yeah, my goodness.
Wilson is out, Flacco starts, and it shakes up the division.
Let's go.
And I think he's gonna start in week 1, so that's gonna be interesting.
Right.
Like him going back to Baltimore, that's gonna be interesting. That is gonna be very interesting that Joe Flacco goes back to Baltimore. We talk about Russell.
Ravens win by 30.
And we talk about all these homecomings. We talk about Russell Wilson going back to Seattle. Hell, Joe Flacco is going back to Baltimore in week 1.
Man, we all know what
now.
homecoming game we waiting for this season.
But well, that's December the 4th. Yeah,
See, I ain't even got to say it. We already know. Everybody.
That's gonna be definitely the biggest one of them all.
Right.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. And you know what's so crazy about that? I can't wait for that because that's the week before our bye week. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I cannot. Oh my gosh. That's when we play the Giants, and then after that we got a bye week. Oh my god. Like, I can't wait. Like, and that's something I'm worried about the bye already. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, he said Tyreek Hill would get over 1,000 yards. That's cruddy.
That's spice ass.
That's just hating.
That is spice ass.
If you want content, I'm gonna give it to you, bro. He's not gonna get over. I might have sounded a little harsh, and I'm sorry.
I bet a case of diet do on that.
I think his receptions will be up, considering Tua only likes the quick slants, but. Yeah. I don't think I don't see it. I'd say by about week 7, week 8, he's gonna do an OBJ treatment and start kicking field goal nets and shit.
And do y'all really think that they trying to get Tom ready?
Who?
The Dolphins. Do y'all really think next season that they trying to get Tom ready?
No. I
think they tried. I think they're done. But I think that was a thing. If anything, Brady was going to be in Vegas. I mean, that's a whole nother story. But
right.
All right, I'll be a little more nice this time. Now that I've cooled down a little bit. I'm sorry. He might get over 1,000 yards. However, my true hot take of the AFC East is that Tyreek Hill doesn't finish as the best receiver for the Dolphins. It's going to be Jalen Waddle.
Somebody walking like a water, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
They already have the connection. They played together at Alabama. They had a season under their belt, and Jalen Waddle put on some really, really good numbers. Yeah. I don't think that goes away just because Tyreek Hill comes to town. I think it helps, obviously. But if you line up against Miami, who are you going to put more emphasis on, Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle?
Mike Gesicki.
Oh, okay.
Hey, and Tyreek Hill's from Florida, right? He's from there, right?
Yeah.
I think
that's gonna be a problem. Yeah,
Tyreek. It's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be definitely interesting, that dynamic. And I definitely, like you said, I definitely think Waddle definitely, like, they got the chemistry. They've been around. This ain't their first go. This ain't their first rodeo together. But hot take. Did you have one, Ryan? I mean, not Ryan. You did your.
Yeah,
Ryan. You had one, Justin.
I'm going to say Garrett Wilson leads the division in yards.
Whoa. Ouch.
Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson just build Joe Flacco, whoever. I'm not going to say the comparison, but I think Wilson is that stud. I 100%. I'm just talking about, probably going to be focusing a little more on, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. Like, they got a lot of guys that you can a little focus on. I think Denzel Mims can possibly slide in there too, but Garrett Wilson, I think is going to lead the division in yards. That's my hot take.
Wilson to Wilson connection.
Build that. That's going to be the foundation going forward.
You can get behind that content right there.
So we had two other brothers. The Williams brothers on defense and the Wilson brothers on offense. But they ain't brothers for real, but not, on offense. But
I'm just saying, as a Penn State fan, Garrett Wilson torched me for years. Like the route running, the cutting, it can get scary. Like, I'm gonna stand on that. We can circle this back maybe in like 2-3 years, maybe not for this year, but
right.
That would be my hot take for now. But Wilson will be that guy for Zach.
Oh, so you're a Penn State guy. So you are a fight Michael Robinson. Shout out to Mike Rob.
Love Michael Robinson.
A dog. Yeah, the 804 legend. But we
got that 12 jersey.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Yeah. I got the LeVar jersey too. Any Penn State guy.
Shout out Sean Clifford for being there for 8 years.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Get that money because he ain't going to the league.
Right. All right. Your hot take now for the AFC East.
I said it. Like I said, Flacco going to take.
Oh, that's right.
I said shake up, but I think it's when he take over, it's gonna be a more aesthetic. They might make a little run, wild card or something.
Yeah.
Be more. How about this? Be more improved than people thought they were going to be.
I don't necessarily have a hot take. I think I'm gonna have a hot take, but I have to save it for when I do as the preview persist. I have a take, but I'm not trying to tip off my future plans on the preview. So I'll temper it. I kind of gave it away without giving it away, but I digress on my point. So, all right. So it's time for record prediction time. So, fellas, we're gonna go around the horn and do your AFC East record predictions. I'm gonna go with you first. Ryan, what you got?
All right. Records are always tough, man, especially in a very competitive division. But
Right.
I'm gonna go 14-3 Buffalo. I'm gonna have. I should have. This is my hot take. Second place. I'm gonna have the Patriots finishing in second, going 10-7. I'm gonna have Miami going third, 9-8, and I'm gonna have the Jets finishing in last, 5-12.
Okay. All right. Justin, what you got?
All right, I got the Bills 13-4. I had 14-3, so I'll switch it too, but I'll do 13-4 maybe. I'm sure they'll probably choke one. I got Dolphins in second at 10-7. Now they're tough because they had a tough stretch towards the end, but I got them 10-7. I got Patriots 7-10, and then I got the Jets 6-11. I was switching the Jets and Patriots all day. I'm not gonna lie. My hot take was gonna be that the Patriots finished last, but like, I don't know. It's Bill, and you guys convinced me.
Right.
And you got a Pro Bowl quarterback in Mac Jones now.
Wow.
If a participation trophy was him, he'd be the face of it.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mel, what you got?
I got Bills at number 1, 11-6. I got the Dolphins number 2 at 10-7. I got the Jets as third at 6-11, and I got the Pats 5-12.
Bill just going for the top 5 pick.
I love it.
Oh my gosh! And don't let him get it. You know
He'll
what?
take a tackle.
Right, but the thing about it, oh gosh, I hope they don't finish that bad because you literally. I'm sorry, I hate to say it like this, but you're really you could be dealing with the devil because think about it, because you know they're gonna trade out that pick. So Lord knows, and especially in that quarterback rich draft, like I'm telling you, man, they might. You know how much capital you can have to cough up just to get in a spot if they 5-12.
That's what I'm saying. Did they fail Mac Jones? I mean, if they're 5-12, there's going to be a lot of questions, and it's got to be the offense.
Yeah,
there's no way you question Bill. You don't question Bill's defense. It's always going to be the offense.
Yeah, and can we say they're going to trade one? He'll get rid of one Alabama quarterback to get another Alabama quarterback.
For their sake, I hope not.
I know, right? Lord, not for no Bryce Young. Oh my gosh, like I would feel for him. I'm like, man, you better stay in Alabama. Try to win your third Heisman for real. Well, but so yeah, no sir. Well, go back home to California somewhere. But yeah, the Bills 14-3, the Dolphins at 10-7. The Patriots at 9-8, and the Jets at 5-12.
You had the same exact records as me. Let's go.
Right.
I mean, I think it's gonna be like that. And like I said, the Jets gonna be that interesting team. They're gonna win some games that's keep like, God, they ain't had no business because I forgot they beat somebody last year. Was it? Damn, I forgot who they beat. They beat like a good team last year. I forgot who they
didn't they beat the Rams?
That might have been on.
I think because it was in New Jersey. Was it? Or yeah, I think they did beat them. Kind of think about it, because I remember it was one of those like red zone type of situations, and everybody made. Well, never mind.
Well, I know the first week, I want to say it was week 3 or week 4. They were kicking the shit out of the Titans, and I think they ended up winning in overtime.
Oh no, they beat them. They beat them. That's who they beat. The Titans. They beat the Titans.
I remember that game.
They beat the Titans.
I think the year they beat the Rams, I don't think that was last year. I think that was 2 years ago. I think another big win they had was, I want to say, the Bengals.
Yes.
I think, yeah, that was the Bengals. Yeah, they beat the Bengals, and they beat Tennessee, because I remember because this was funny because we was all in the chat, and I remember because they was like, ain't no way that they'll beat that I forgot what it was, but they ended up losing. They ended up losing to them. I remember that. I'm actually trying to look at it now, but like, because I knew, they did beat the Titans. Yep, because they beat the 27-24. And I remember that because everybody was like, oh, ain't no way they're gonna that the Jets gonna lose. The Jets gonna win, and they won. I remember that.
That was like the one really stupid solid game that Corey Davis had last year. He had a really nice touchdown and over 100 yards.
Yeah, I remember because that's when I was because that's when I was at the Falcons game, and I remember coming out because that was a weird week. That's when the Giants beat the Saints, and then they won. And that's because it was in that 1 o'clock window, and everybody was like freaking out, like, man, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, I remember
those games too carry over to the next season, man. Especially for the young players on the Jets and everything like that. Like, that's why, like, the Dolphins and Patriots, like, for that second and third, man, like the Dolphins. They end the schedule, I think, week 13 to 18. It's like at 49ers, at Chargers, at Bills. Then they have like the Packers at New England, and then the Jets. So like that is a brutal five week stretch right there to end the schedule. I mean, maybe easy one with the Jets unless Zach Wilson's going mom mode. But like, it's again that second and third. It's just the Bills to lose. I mean, that's all it is. Whoever comes in second, hey, have fun in the playoffs. Don't pack that much stuff.
Exactly. So, if you're still listening to us now, let's introduce you to the featured presentation here on the NFL, on the Couch Coach Live NFL preview. We're going to talk about the NFC East.
Let's go.
So we are here. We are here at the top of the hour. And so we'll go around the horn, fellas. The biggest storyline in the NFC East. I'm gonna go with you first, Ryan. What you got?
This is really simple. I don't even know if I need to talk, do I? All right. So background of who doesn't know who I am or follow my Twitter or any of my social media. I am a diehard Washington Commanders fan. Yes, I said Commanders. I'm born and raised in the DMV. This is my team. Biggest storyline's Carson Wentz. I don't think I need to talk much more about the NFC East. Is it going to be, is Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown going to lead the Eagles to a big season? Is Brian Daboll going to turn around the Giants? No, it's Carson Wentz. Anytime you turn on a sports outlet and they talk NFC East, it's Carson Wentz and only Carson Wentz. He gets kicked out of Philly. He gets traded from Indianapolis to Washington. And all the owner, Jim Irsay from the Colts, has to talk about is how they didn't go to the playoffs and how poorly they played because of their quarterback issue. Was that the case in some games? Probably. But if you look at stats, it really wasn't. So the biggest storyline in the NFC East this year is what is Carson Wentz going to do with, on paper, his best talented offense he's ever played with.
And all I got to say for Jim Irsay, we'll see you on October the 30th, buddy.
Yes, sir.
I'll be there.
You know what? I'm that might be there too, possibly.
Oh yeah, hey, I haven't gotten tickets yet, but I have a Colts buddy, so like I'm like really close to going and everything. So
are the Commander guys going to be biased, or are they going to tell the truth? I just want to know.
No,
just tell me.
I'm going to tell the truth.
We'll tell the truth.
It's just when you talk NFC East, though. I mean, what other storyline right now is in the news that everyone's talking about that isn't Carson Wentz?
That's true, and they're in his failures.
No, there's nothing else going on right now in the NFC East that no other sports outlet is talking about. The only other thing that people are talking about is Jalen Hurts' BFFs with A.J. Brown, and that's literally it.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys upset that y'all got Wentz?
I'm not.
I was initially because I think we reached.
It's really a Commander fan.
We reached
the money.
For it. The money.
No,
That's
I
why
mean,
I got it.
I'm not
That's
even.
why I
I'm
like
just
it.
being.
The
I mean, the
reach.
money factor obviously was an issue, yes, but at the
Yes.
same time, something that a lot of Washington fans seem to sweep under the rug is the fact that of the last 10 years, Carson Wentz is the best quarterback we've had since Kirk Cousins.
That's so
Yeah.
awful to say.
I
And
know. That's
you
what
know
I'm
how
saying.
poorly
It's
that
ugly
is?
truth. It's ugly truth.
The face of our
Almost choked.
franchise,
Yeah.
the face of our franchise is Terry McLaurin, and he's played with 11 different quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's been the Washington issue.
But
Yeah.
but it's not even just since Cousins. It's more so just the arm. I
Arm.
mean,
Yeah.
we won 7 games with Heineke, and it's a struggle throwing 10, 15 yards. I mean,
Right.
I don't think the one
Hey,
game last
hey.
year, like he
So
literally
all
spiked
y'all
the ball on
Commander
the ground.
fans, all
Yeah.
y'all
And-
Commander fans.
Not
Yeah.
proud.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes,
coach,
that's what I said.
you,
Yeah, that's what I said.
Coach, you
I-
set me up.
No, I led
You
the show.
set me up.
I led the show with 3
I hold it
Commanders
true.
and a Steeler. I said that from the beginning.
Well, I'll say
Yeah.
this. I lived in Woodbridge, so I'll let some of this go. I cannot believe I'm being triple teamed. This is
Yeah, I said 3 Commanders and a Steeler. Oh, absolutely. Yes, we here. That's we develop a bond since the NFL draft.
I hate talking bias, man, but at this point in time with storylines, I just got to speak facts. Like
I
the
feel
amount of I'm sorry, I don't apologize for my language, but the amount of bullshit we've dealt with over the last 10, 15 years of horrible quarterback play, like it's not even just being biased at this point. What we gave up might have been an issue. The money, at the other hand, probably an issue. But at the same time, like we finally have
Pay
a
the
quarterback we
price.
can take shots with.
Yeah, it's gonna be like you're right. I mean, yeah, and I kind of don't want to jinx it because never mind. I'll talk about it later. All right, I'm gonna go with you next, Justin. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Eagles loading up completely. It's all on Jalen Hurts, but I mean, my biggest storyline's got to be Dallas. Who is helping Lamb? I mean, Gallup's hurt. Like, I don't trust this Dallas offense anymore, especially just after last year. Like, they are just such a roller coaster, up and down, inconsistent. I don't know what Zeke we're going to get this year. I'm seeing people talk about maybe Pollard more than Zeke, which would be, I guess, not surprising as far as what Pollard can do sometimes out the backfield. But I mean, again, with Gallup out, James Washington also out. I know Gallup's actually supposed to return within first couple of weeks, but still,
They're rookie. I mean,
a little
I'll
line.
help you out.
Yeah,
Jalen Tolbert, their draft pick, South Alabama stud.
you're not helping the case either way. It doesn't compare. If we're being honest, all right, look at the Eagles now, wide receivers like that, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. That's a scary duo. Commanders, Terry Curtis, now Jahan Dotson. Dak has CD Lamb. And the thing is, too, we still don't know if he's even a true number one. Is he going to be
Right.
like Juju? Is it like when AB left, like, is he just going to be like Juju, where he needs that other guy? I'm so sorry.
I remember that.
But I mean, again, it's just Lamb is a question mark right now,
Right.
as far as whether he can take the workload on that offense for the receiving core, especially right now with guys out. And then again, the Zeke, the Pollard, the defense, I think is. I won't say the word, but I love Micah Parsons.
It's going to be the
It's
Cowboys
overrated.
of old.
Yeah.
It's going to be I was going to go the other way. I was going to say it's the Cowboys of old. Like, I really like their defense.
No, but I just the DeMarcus Lawrence, the Barr, Van Der Esch, like, I just think it's guys that are just so past that they won't be playing later on. Like, that's just fact of the matter. And that Dallas defense, they let up so many points every single week. They got smacked by the Broncos last year, embarrassed. And they didn't do anything wow in the offseason either. Like, and on top of that, there's never a repeat champion within the NFC East. So, I mean, that just automatically rules out the Cowboys there. But I don't think they did anything spectacular in the offseason that improved Dak at all.
Yeah. What you got, Maui?
Man. Basically, it's funny. I got the same thing you guys said. I got more than one big story, but definitely Wentz. I put a question mark. You know what I mean? Is he the one? Jalen Hurts, is he going? They building up around him. I was like, is he really the guy? Even though they made it to the playoffs and looked bad, I was like, they building around him. Is that success going to hurt him or make it better? But the main storyline is the Cowboys still the favorite in this division. And as of right now, as we're talking, I don't really see that. Like he said, my biggest thing with the Cowboys is since they've had Zeke is that when Zeke does well, they win.
Yeah.
Zeke, it's always been that way. Remember when they wasn't talking about paying him, right? That was one of the big things. Everybody fought for him to get his money. We need probably stop doing that because they probably know some things that we don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because he really seemed like he hasn't been the same since he got his bread. And I think even this season, he's getting paid more than he was getting paid last season. You know what I mean? And then, I like Dak. He's consistent, but it's still something missing about him that you'd be like, man, we could probably do better. You know what I mean?
He handed the ball off to the ref to end the game.
We could probably do better. And the funniest thing ever, watch when Romo is sitting there commentating the game, boy, that is comedy. You know what I mean? He loves when he messes up. But also the Giants. Nobody spoke of the Giants. Is Barkley going to stay healthy? Is Jones? Is he the one? I think he's up for an extension, right, Coach? I think he should be playing for an extension this year, right?
Well, yeah, they actually declined his extension. He was supposed to get an extension, his 4th-year extension, but they didn't. So pretty much, he's playing on a 1-year deal. Pretty much, this is
right.
Break for him, yeah.
So with his new head coach, how he helped Josh Allen, definitely is he going to be able to help Daniel Jones? I like Daniel Jones. I mean, I guess looking at him, I remember him playing against you guys, and I didn't know he was that big. And he ran pretty well, and he's been there for a minute. You know what I mean? And he's, to me, playing in New York, the atmosphere, if you're not playing well, it's got to be bad. You know what I mean? It's got to be horrible. And he's been able to still deal with it. But so those are my biggest stories, just like basically the quarterback play of the whole division.
Yeah. Mine is can the Eagles build off of last year's momentum? Obviously,
right.
This was the team that we looked at this time last year as a rebuilding team. Definitely,
right.
They were the butt of all jokes. Obviously, Mr. Men's Warehouse, rock, paper, scissors, their head coach. So he was kind of the butt of all our jokes. But we end up having the last, the Eagles had the last laughing at. Obviously, with Dick Sarani as their head coach, we looked at them as a laughing stock. But hey, they made the playoffs last year. Will the Cowboys, aka the Arlington football team, will they repeat as NFC champions? The last time that a team has repeated NFC champions was the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2004. So it's been a 17-year pretty much of consecutive seasons where we've had a new win the next year. We haven't had a repeat champion. And I'm not even going to belabor on the point of what Washington has already been kind of I'm not going to beat a dead horse with that one. So, yeah. So that's my storylines for the NFC. And obviously with the Giants, obviously the Buffalo, they're the Buffalo Bills of the East potentially, as far as so Brian Daboll showing as the general manager there. So they're starting to kind of build a Buffalo East for them. So as
you say that, I want to ask a question to you guys real quick before we continue. This just has always popped into my head when they made all those moves at the draft. They get AJ Brown. I think they have a very, very great draft getting Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean, both from Georgia. So you look at this Philadelphia Eagles team on paper, right? They look exceptional across the board. Jalen Hurts, you got I would say probably an average running back in Miles Sanders. You have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, really good defensive front. Looks really, really good on paper, right? So something that has always come to my mind when this happens, and not just because it's the Eagles, but it was the Eagles. Does this Philadelphia team give you dream team vibes?
Oh,
Do you
you
remember
know,
the 2012
yes,
Eagles? They get
yes.
Mike Vick, Shady McCoy,
Yep. That was the
Jeremy
strike.
Maclin,
Yep.
Deshaun Jackson, really, really good defense, and they finished 4-12.
Yeah, and it's funny because I thought about it earlier, but I was like, this team a little bit different as far as they're better in the trenches than that team in that strike shortened year. So I looked at that and I thought about it like out more so of the height expectations. I'll put it that way because, but it's like all of us. I think we all, especially being in the NFC East, when a team that overachieves one year, they think that's going to happen again. Like if we were sitting in the same chair last year, people looked at Washington was going to be in that same predicament where they won. Then you get a little bit better. So yes, I not necessarily think they're 4-12, but I think they could take a drop potentially.
Like flip side of the ball too. Like we're just talking about the offense. Like they go out and sign James Bradbury. They still have Darius Slay. That same 2012 team was when they went out and got Nnamdi Asomugha. Remember him?
Yeah.
Like
you
shutdown corner from the Raiders who comes to Philly and gets torched every play.
Right.
The biggest part though for Hurts is not just getting AJ Brown though. They have a top 5 offensive line. I mean, their offensive lines are arguably the best.
The trenches,
and I mean, I think it's more we just haven't seen Philly go all in like this since the Dream Team. I think is like the thing. I don't know if we can like Mike Vick and Jalen Hurts is a sour taste right now in my mouth, but like I know what you're doing. Right. But I think it's more of just the fact that like even Philly fans, like when they won the Super Bowl, who was it? Alshon Jeffrey, probably their wideout one. Like, they haven't outside that Dream Team. Yeah, they haven't really cashed in like this before.
Yeah, it's gonna be definitely interesting how this team they can rebound. But breakout player in the NFC East, Ryan, what you got?
So I know when you hear breakout player, you're probably thinking of like rookies, first year, second year players. I mean, and this is going to be really hard saying this, but I full-heartedly believe it this year. New head coach, new scheme, new system. Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And he's one of my favorite fantasy picks this year, especially if you're in a PPR league. Brian Daboll loves using running backs as receivers. And Saquon Barkley, you can look at camp, you can look at his tape at Penn State, or even over the years of him, before he got hurt. He's a really good receiver for a bigger running back. And I think he's going to be used a lot more in that kind of scheme. I don't know what it is because, I mean, they bring in Matt Breida. Okay, great. Who else do they have behind him on the depth chart at running back? They don't have much. And if you are very unsure of Daniel Jones throwing the ball downfield or just throwing the ball in general, like, you got a running back on your team who can touch the ball 30 times a game, and he did that before he got injured. I have no reason to believe why Saquon Barkley can't be the breakout player in the NFC East this year.
Yeah, big time.
We are.
What you got, Justin?
Well, it's actually funny. Actually, I have somebody else on the Giants. I was going to say Kadarius Toney, and it's actually almost for the same reason where it was, the expectation where Dable can not get Jones on Allen's level. Let me make that clear. But if he can just get Jones going in the right direction, I still don't know if the Galladay money was worth it. But I think Toney fits that skill set of more so just getting the yards after the catch, if anything. It's like the dink downs that he does to Saquon. If he does the same thing to Toney, he can take it to the house himself. But, since you went Giants, I'm going to say Kenneth Gainwell. You mentioned Miles Sanders, but unfortunately, I think they're kind of shifting gears a little bit. Sanders fumbles a bit. He gets hurt. Like, there are some question marks with him. But Gainwell got some flashes a decent amount last year, especially towards the end of the season, that, like, I can see him being the receiving back, the RPO type guy that's next to Hurts and everything in the backfield. I can see Gainwell eventually being that RB1 for the Eagles. And, again, it's the expectation that they're going to win the division. And the Eagles, they're not a passing team. They still just want to run the ball.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but it can't be Hurts that does it all the time. They got to get that, not every down back, but they got to find a more reliable guy. And unfortunately, Sanders, his stats, it may look nice, but it's also because he broke one off for 50 yards and then After that, it was 2 yards a carry or 1 yard a carry. Like, I think Gainwell can become that in Philly, and I almost threw up saying that, but I do think eventually like that his skill set is exactly what Sirianni wants on that Philly offense.
Yeah. We got Maui.
I want to do this a little different since all of you guys are Commanders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my breakout player actually is Jamie. So I'm saying his name was, but Jamie Davis. Am I saying his name? First name right? Jamie Davis.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm picking him is because, the way I do things may be different. I don't read. I kind of go through a lot of different things on YouTube. And this young man was speaking on it. And then I seen some other stuff. And I loved what he was saying. And then I started looking up his stuff. And I was like, man, he is stud. What happened? Do you think the expectations or
he was in the
Chase
wrong
Young?
position?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get there. So Chase, and I believe with Chase Young coming back, I think he's the culture of the defense, and I think he's the face of the defense. And when he went down, I think it kind of took something from the defense, and I think him coming back is going to help. So, what do y'all think that your Del Rio needs to do to make Davis get the best out of his situation?
Well,
to be a breakout player.
The first thing
JDR needs to pack his bags.
I was going to say, the first thing they need to do is just put him in the right position. Rivera and JDR drafted him. JDR and Rivera drafted him to be the Mike linebacker of that offense. Or I'm sorry, defense. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch any of Jamin Davis's tape at Kentucky, he's not a Mike. He's a strong side linebacker because he's very good in coverage against tight ends and makes plays sideline to sideline because the man runs 4.3. He plays he's a better linebacker when he uses his athleticism instead of trying to stuff the middle of the line. He's better out in the flat. He's better out making plays. And one of those plays kind of flashed when he played on the outside in the Bills game early on. It was 4th and 2 when they ran like a little shuffle pass to Beasley, and he hit him for a 6-yard loss because he's out in the flat making plays. He can't play in the middle. He has to be out running around, coveraging, making plays on the outside of the field.
Exactly. But if you look at the tape, they don't do that. What happens is people got time, no penetration coming down that line, and you wonder why, like on 3rd and 15, you're getting gashed. You got to even a guy like a Chris Powell can come down there and throw that football and get 16 yards on a 3rd and 15. It's that bad. And like you said, and like you said, he's out of position. And it's just weird, like how they positioned him. Because at first we were like, because I had a gripe about it, because I was upset about it, because I was looking at a guy like a JOK. That's who you need as far as a Mike linebacker, a guy who can spy.
Dog.
And that's why I was upset on draft night. People were like, oh well, James Davis, okay. I'm like, but he's not JOK. JOK is a spy. This is what you need on a defense, especially when you have a situation like what's going on now where you're not getting penetration. You need a guy that can make plays.
I think it'd be, if he was a 2nd round pick, if he wasn't our 1st round pick, we'd be hyped to see him this year. Because there's just no way that I can doubt Rivera and JDR coaching up a young linebacker. Like, I don't care what anyone on Twitter says. Like, I really don't care. Like, if there is a young linebacker that they're willing to take a risk on, especially in the 1st round, they see something in him. And I mean, it is like he is a little raw there, but I went to Kentucky obviously for a bit of a reason out of to college. But again, it's the athleticism covering, but the quickness and everything like that. It just takes that NFL speed to get there. And I think that first year was just that, holy shit, now I'm in the league.
Right.
I think now alongside, Holcomb's been steadily improving each and every single year. Like I'm really starting to come around there for Cole, but I am stupid hyped to see Jamin Davis this year.
Yeah.
Do you who I was watching, he was saying do you think he's better than Micah, or he could be better than Micah?
Jamin better than Micah?
No.
That's tough.
Not at all.
I went to high school with Micah's brother and sister. I've known Micah for a decent bit, so it's hard
Mhm.
for me to turn on that. But I can't.
No, I mean, it's not saying any better. I'm just saying there's a possibility that he can get there.
I think almost in the same tier. They'll be separated.
Yeah.
But I think as far as just athleticism and just being able to play that position, Micah's a little different because they can throw him on the edge. Like he's a freak off the edge. But Davis can get there. It's just the fact, like I said,
the scheme won't allow him to do that. It won't allow him to
such
do
an
it.
early first round pick. Like, it was JOK that was there. There was the other linebacker that was there too. I was screaming at the TV for. But like again, if he was second pick, the second overall or second round pick, we'd be a lot happier to see him this year. But it's just expectation with Washington. It's just stupid high for poverty.
And this goes to that, like I told people even when Ron Rivera got hired, Ron Rivera, he's Riverboat Ron for a reason. And I love Ron Rivera. He do stuff that all right, I'm gonna trust you, but sometimes he do stuff that be like, what the hell is going on? Like a lot of stuff like no Ross moves. You let guys like Matt Ioannidis go, Tim Settle go. You already had a situation where you had the injuries last year on that defensive line, and there was like a carousel. You got rid of two guys, and I'm thinking to myself, just trust that process. This is his third year. This is when he quote unquote he gets it right, and it's like, am I going to be on the other end of this? This gamble, so. Yeah, that was another thing that was a question mark for me. So I mean, yeah, like I said, I try to embrace the Jamie Davis thing as much as I can. But when JOK was there and seeing what he's gonna do in Cleveland, like
I would say maybe another player on the defense to break out if you were to pick a commander. I think it would be John Allen, and I know it's weird because he just was elected to the Pro Bowl last season, but there were so many times where he should have gotten a sack and the quarterback just got rid of the ball. Like I'm talking about, like he could be top 10 probably in the sack leading conversation, especially maybe not against the Eagles line, but the Giants line, like Cowboys line got a little beat up there on the interior. Like John Allen is a complete dog. Like you mentioned Chase. Chase is probably the swagger of our defense.
Mm-hmm.
John Allen's the general of the defense.
The other thing too to keep in mind, not a lot of interior linemen get a lot of sacks other than Aaron Donald, and Jonathan Allen had 10.5 sacks last year as a D tackle, a rotating D tackle also.
Impressive.
Yeah, so that's why Settle Ioannidis, but again, they hit the draft. They got another D tackle, but John Allen, it could be back-to-back Pro Bowl years for him, and even a better year this year.
Yeah. All right. So we got So my breakout player for the NFC East, and I know this is kind of, and I guess this is appropriate. I think it's gonna be Daniel Jones. I definitely think he's gonna be a guy, and obviously, and I don't know, Ryan, just so you guys know that I'm actually a Carolina football fan. So I've seen Daniel Jones, and the first time we beat Daniel. Well, obviously in college he beat us every year from his sophomore year, and then obviously we finally beat him on a Thursday night in September last year. So I think Daniel Jones is a good quarterback, and I think it's just a simple fact of who he had as his coach. Obviously, Joe Judge was coach. Jason Garrett was OC. So a lot of things can happen. But I think now, bringing a guy like a Brian Daboll, and then also a sneaky hire also is getting Mike Kafka. I think he's a guy, obviously with an NFL pedigree, even although he's had a cup of coffee in a couple places, but nothing sustainable. But he's still but he's still an NFL quarterback when it's all said and done with. So I think that's going to be a nice relationship for him to have. His line be a little bit better, obviously getting a guy like Evan Neal in that draft. I think I was really impressed by their draft because they got two lunch pail guys on both ends. You got Evan Neal on one, and then you got Kayvon Thibodeau on the other on the defense. So they got guys who I think is going to be cornerstones for their interiors, for the long haul. I think they're two bookend captains of those trenches. And then also, like you said, Galladay, we'll see how they go. Kadarius Toney, like I said, he got a little bit growing up to do. I think sometimes even with a coaching change, that kind of breeds new change and kind of light a fire under you. So I mean, because at one point I think we all had most yards than he had at one point in his career. So going into his year, so I think he'll be a lot better this year. I think it's definitely. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah.
I was one guy I wanted to bring up too, since we're talking about breakouts. I mentioned an offensive player with Barkley, but on the defensive side, you brought up Micah, and one guy who I really think, this might sound weird, who I really think will take the mold of Micah Parsons this year is Hassan Reddick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
I was going to say Sweat.
Now in that role in Philly's defense, coming off the edge, and a guy like Hassan Reddick who can play kind of in that Micah hybrid role, who can play with his hand in the dirt. He can play outside and rush, or he can play in the middle and stand up and cover. I really, really like Hassan Reddick at Philly, on that Philly team this year.
Yeah, I do like and he comes back home because obviously he's from Temple, so he'll be playing in the league again. So that's definitely going to be a nice homecoming for him.
Don't forget what he did in a single game too. What was it for? He had almost a single record within a single sack game last year too.
Oh,
Carolina.
one of the first games of the season. Because I remember we was like, oh, he gonna be on a tear. We used to get ready to call him defensive player of the year. We was like, oh man, forget Aaron Donald.
Steady after
it was a little premature. But
I mean, but you throw that into the Philly defense where you have Jordan Davis pushing 3 of your linemen around.
I know. Oh my God.
Yeah, and massive. Dean. That's the guy I wanted to cut. Like if Ron had his hands on Dean,
exactly.
But we didn't take Dean because we have Davis.
Exactly. I'm just like
can't win.
Can't win for losing. But yeah. So, all right, fellas, let's go around the horn. Dark horse team in the NFC East. Is this? I'll let y'all.
No comment.
Let y'all cook.
No comment.
No comment, Ryan. All right. What about you, Justin?
I mean, you kind of hit on it.
Okay,
it has to be the Giants.
Okay.
I'll let anyone else say us, but the Giants. I mean, maybe even just the hottest take. Daniel Jones and the Giants kind of control the division. If they just get everything going and Dable's able to completely come in and change that culture, Saquon healthy and Jones actually becomes the prospect, at least of what he is supposed to do. And again, their defense also has some nice pieces, but our division also always beats up on each other. So there's never anyone that really goes ever 6-0 against the other teams. So if the Giants just split against everybody, and they have a pretty easy schedule also too. It's kind of weird, how they can just control the destiny of the division.
The correct answer on paper is the Giants, and this isn't just no bias. This is just being a sports fan. Washington's the dark horse in that division, and it's not solely because of the solidifying your quarterback position and giving Carson Wentz the most amount of weapons he's ever had in his career. Think about it for a second. Last year, his number one target was Michael Pittman Jr., great receiver. If you listen to the Weekly Audible, Justin absolutely nailed that comparison with Michael Pittman right out of the draft. But after that, you look around at his talent. I mean, Jonathan Taylor isn't a receiving running back. Zach Pascal, was okay, but he's not really a great wide receiver too. Jack Doyle, I mean, you're going to look at Jack Doyle and compare him to when he had a Goddard or a Zach Ertz back in the day, not the greatest. And then even from the Philadelphia days, Alshon Jeffrey was probably his best receiver he's ever had. And you can't really sit here and tell me that Alshon Jeffrey is better than Terry McLaurin. And that's just one player. Now that Wentz is surrounding himself with a guy like McLaurin, a guy like Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, De'Ami Brown, Logan Thomas, and then the 3 running backs, even Gibson, Brian Robinson, J.D. McKissick. This is the most, and a top, I'll just say it, top 10 offensive line. This is the best offensive team Wentz will ever have. And on top of all of that, Washington has the 4th easiest schedule in the league.
Right.
Well, that's why
Damn,
I mean you can't.
damn it, you're telling all my secrets.
It's just one of those, like, obviously Philly's the favorite, and then Dallas
Right.
is
Yeah.
America's team. But like,
Yep.
yeah, if Wentz and Washington's defense go, it's a wrap. But Daniel Jones and Dable, like, they have so many question marks. If everything hits, nobody's planning for that. Like, everyone's just planning for the Giants to come in last. They kind of control it.
Yeah. What you got, Maui?
All right, I got the dark horse, the Commanders. I haven't heard anybody say it, but I like Heineke, and I feel like Heineke is, through everything that y'all been through, right? Everything that y'all been through, this transition, COVID, Alex Smith, all these different things, he's been there. You know what I mean? He probably wants to be a starter, but he don't mind being a secondary. I like Heineke, but I feel like okay, Philly most likely gonna win the division, but I feel like the way they loading this team up, I believe the league is gonna be on notice, and there's gonna be games that they most likely should win, and they're gonna lose. I have you guys sweeping the Giants, and I have the Giants sweeping the Cowboys, and I think that I'll tell you the rest what they have, but I think you guys are gonna be the dark horse. I think you guys are gonna be way better than what they make out to be. I just don't. Even though the Eagles made it, I'm not a believer just yet, and I'm not a believer in the Giants just yet. I do feel like Daniel Jones has something to prove, especially, and then they even got him this coach that's going to help him. You know, Barkley, if he stay healthy, all those little things. It's more to it, but their schedule is not that tough. The Cowboys' schedule is crazy. They got the Bucks, Rams, Bengals, and Eagles twice, and then at the end of the season, they got the Packers, the Colts, and you know what I mean. I got you guys at the dark horse, the Commanders.
Don't get it twisted either. I mean, especially from my point of view, like my personal opinion of being a Washington fan, I've always loved Taylor Heineke, and I still do to this day.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
the kid undrafted, goes to the XFL, was bounced around a couple teams, and then was literally a COVID quarterback who comes in, wins a game, gets us to the playoffs. And the thing like about Heineke that it's just really hard to hate on, like the kid busts his ass, man.
Right.
Like pushing it out, getting extra yards, like trying to make the plays, trying to get the team a win. The only issue with Heineke, he just can't push the ball down the field. And with the skill players that we have to push the ball down the field.
Right.
Like, he cannot throw it. He cannot accurately throw it 30 yards.
Yeah. Well, Heineke's the guy you'd run through a wall for, but he's not the guy you'd want to catch a ball for.
So, like, I remember when Ben came to the Steelers, we had Charlie Batch, and me and my dad was talking. I said, when you have a second string to me, he knew his position. Like, you know what I mean? And rather than work against Ben, they worked together. So if Ben was hurt, we had the confidence of Batch to come in and get us a game or two. You know what I mean? Which, to me, that's what football really is supposed to be in the first place. You know what I mean? And I remember watching how the team, the way they loved his leadership, Heineke's leadership. You know what I mean? They could look him in his eyes, and just like the game when we beat Tampa Bay, right? Didn't he beat?
No, we lost.
No, regular season.
The regular season game.
Yes, regular season.
Then when he ran in, and just was I remember. Yeah, I remember when he did that. Y'all lost that game.
The pylon dive.
No,
yeah.
That was the playoff game.
The pylon dive, we lost.
The pylon was lost. Yeah, that's the one that's on the shirt, on the T-shirt.
So I just remember him playing, and then how he put everything on the field. He played with his heart, and how the team, because nobody was looking at you guys to do anything. You know what I mean? And it seemed like just the team was motivated after that. Like, if he's going to be able to do that, he don't even know if he's going to be here next year. You know what I mean?
Well,
I got to do the same thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's also just because of that. Like, we call Heineke in the middle of him taking finals, and he's like, hey, I got to go play Brady this weekend. Like,
right.
It's so weird to say because of just the short stint, but like, Heineke's cemented in DC for what he did for us against that Bucks game for just that short time. Like, he's forever like we're thankful for him, because you look at what just the Eagles did last year against the Bucks in the playoffs. They looked awful, and they have apparently a franchise quarterback in Jalen Hurts. We had a banged up defense going up against Tom Brady with the yeah, exactly. Like, it's
and everything. Look, with everything with the coaches. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm gonna say real quick. With everything with the coaches, the name change, COVID, the where they're gonna move everything. One positive thing I could say, Heineke. That's one thing I could say. Heineke went out there and played. Expectations was high, but he played with his heart.
So my biggest thing with Taylor Heineke is, and why they're a sleeper, because we got to still remember this team went 7-10, and Taylor Heineke really had no business being the starting quarterback. People got to remember Ryan Fitzpatrick was supposed to be our starting quarterback. Taylor got thrust into that situation in the second quarter of that first game, and Ryan Fitzpatrick never played. The thing with Taylor Heineke, he is a backup quarterback at best.
He's a backup quarterback.
And I said that from the jump. He is the pinch hitter. Like, if Ryan Fitzpatrick was out for maybe 4 to 6 weeks, I would be comfortable having Taylor Heineke as a starting quarterback for those 6 games, because at least, hey, we can be 3-3 or, or 4-2 or whatever. But for him to play those amounts, we play with a backup quarterback, and then we get to a point where we were 6-6. Yes, we do lose to Dallas, and then our COVID quarterback gets COVID. We start a guy, Garrett Gilbert, a guy who was called on a Thursday while giving his daughter a bath, said, hey, you need to be in Ashburn at 11 o'clock Friday morning. And you expect him to go to Philadelphia and win on a Thursday, on a Tuesday night in the most critical game of the season?
Yeah.
If we can get a guy like a Carson Wentz, and I don't care, who gives a damn what Jim Irsay got to say? I don't give a damn what nobody say. If we get a guy that can put up 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, this team is going to go places.
They also had the second hardest schedule last year that people forget about.
And people don't realize we had a gauntlet. Like, we talked about it. Well, not me and you, but we talked about it. We had weeks. We had played Patrick Mahomes one week. We played Aaron Rodgers the next. And you think about it. We had a tough schedule. We had a murderous
with no defense. With no defense. Well, and the one thing too about Wentz that's like so interesting with everybody talking about like him wanting to play like superhero ball, whatever. Like, he was the sixth best quarterback throwing the ball downfield.
Exactly.
Like just the stats don't lie. Yeah, you can look at the interceptions. Yeah, some of the tape's stupid with some of the throws he's made, but that's the thrill that Washington has missed. Is like Scott's Turner, and Scott's Turner's offense is built to avoid the superhero. Like, the relationship between Wentz, Turner, Thomas, Bates, that tight end trio is going to get a lot of love this year, because Wentz is not going to be making that superhero throw anymore.
And that's the thing with Taylor Heineke. That's where, and I'm telling you, I swear, and I feel like if you listen, and obviously the other podcast, the Watching Football guys now, Commanders in the chat, I swear every week we used to say with Taylor Heineke, the key to win, don't play hero ball. We want him to be conservative. But every time he went outside of that, and we lost. I look at like Dallas, we lost in that regard. Every time, like, and think about it, he had 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. And you think about it, if we cut down those interceptions, coupled with the fact our pass defense is atrocious.
Well, yeah.
Like, people don't understand. Like, even we had the 31st worst pass defense last year, playing on a backup quarterback. It still was 7-10. Still was in contention still in contention. Because I'm telling you, and people say excuses and all this type of stuff. But when we won in 2020, everybody kept on saying, well, the Cowboys, they got Ben DiNucci. But then it's okay, but it's cute and funny, and it's like when Garrett Gilbert is starting. And like, but we can't get that grace? Okay, then. Let us get Carson Wentz for 17 games.
And that was the thing with Heineke's throws too, was like, when we were itching for that deep ball and he threw it, like, that Terry catch gets globalized, and it is still an amazing catch.
Right.
Notice he had to make that catch because he was like, where the hell's the ball? Like he couldn't locate the ball and everything. And even so many times downfield when he would throw it. Terry would have feasted so many times on the Eagles and Cowboys if he had an arm. Right. But it's not accurate. It's always underthrown. Carson would rather he overthrows them. Rather have that. Like I will take that over underthrowing. So many picks happen.
And he's physical. He's a little bit more physical than Taylor Heineke, where you look at those runs, especially in that Cowboys game when Randy Gregory pretty much put him on the ground or pretty much felt like on every play. Carson Wentz could potentially evade those in a sense. So I look at that as kind of one of the reasons why I think Carson Wentz will actually that's why it makes it seem a dark horse team. I think considering the fact everything that happened in 2021, and then even if something does happen, knock on wood, but if Taylor's there for a few weeks to spot up duty, I'll be cool with that as well. But we gotta remember this man played with a backup quarterback,
and that's why I put y'all as a dark horse, man. Like y'all battle tested too. Like I was looking at it, I was like, damn, they won the division then, boom, boom. And then last season, I was like, man, it's a good chance that you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. And we didn't even like the defense too. If the defense just hits the potential, it's top 5-ish. That can be fully stamped. But yeah, as the ceiling and everything. So yeah, easily. I hate sounding biased, so I couldn't say this.
And it's if they get a penetration, on that line. That's the biggest key, because I think that opens up to a lot of things. That opens up like kind of what happened in 2020, where you get a guy like a Cam Curl who can make those game-breaking plays. It's all contingent on getting that pressure and getting that penetration off that line, because I think really that's the key. Because obviously, if you look at, like we talked about it in those third and long situations, we get gassed, and that's another thing too, where that third down defense, and I really was shocked that we weren't the worst team in the league as far as when it came to third down defense. And I think I'm telling you, that's really the only biggest issue. But the good thing about that, we kind of mitigate now with somewhat of an offense, so it's a little bit different. And that's and because the thing was, we wanted to slow up the tempo. We wanted to slow up the tempo, and we wanted to have time of possession. Which in these cases, and we knew these stats were going to be like that because we knew we was coming like every week, and if you even roll the tape from the podcast, every week we came to a gunfight with a plastic knife, and we knew, and that's why we were like, okay, the keys to win that game is to run the football, the control the time of possession, because you're already shorthanded. So it's like if we had that plastic knife and you got a Glock, we're done.
Right.
So it's just like
even just to finish it, I think we were, I want to say bottom 20, maybe 23rd, I think, or 24th, averaging around 19 points. And I believe Indianapolis was a top 10 points per game there. So just speaking as far as that wind the clock, even when we had the clock, we still wouldn't score. I mean, we'd get past the 35, and I'm like, just kick the field goal. I just kick the field goal. It's just, there's so many times where it's like that. But now, it's the offense and the defense being able to be balanced.
I'm telling you, I swear to you, it was so bad. I want to say, it felt like a broken record. I swear to you. If somebody gave me $1 every time I said Tress Wade was one of the keys to a win, I would be living in a beach house in Manhattan. I swear to you, right, and that's how bad that team was offensively. So that's why even for them to finish at that, I'm cool with it, because now we got an upgrade. We actually have a starting quarterback in this league, and like you said, it got sad. It got sad to a point where it's like Tress Way, especially especially when we was playing at big guns, when we were playing Patrick Mahomes. We were playing and Lord, when we played Denver, I was like,
I was at the Denver game.
Oh, God.
I was at the Denver game.
That game, I think, pissed me off even more. I think that's probably the worst game that really pissed me off.
On my Instagram, I have Heineke throwing that last pick. And I started cheering. I was like, I knew it was going to happen. I mean, he short-armed it completely. Like, that was just a typical throw there. Like, it's all on film. It's just unbelievable.
And before we go to the next point,
at least he wasn't Roethlisberger's last game in the playoffs. But he got 61 yards.
Yeah, and one more point, Justin. I remember this is funny because that game, and I remember it because that was Halloween, and I'm out passing kids. I'm passing out candy to kids in the neighborhood, and when Taylor had to get hit, that I was like, "Fuck!" And it's like, I mean, I swear to God, like probably about 10, 15 kids in the neighborhood heard me say, "Fuck!" Like,
the thing was in the stadium, we ended up getting that fumble, right? Denver was about to shut the clock. I was about to walk out the stadium because I was like, we're done, like all this stuff. We end up getting the fumble. I'm looking around, Denver fans looking at me, and like they're trying not to say anything, and I'm trying not to be that guy where it's like interception, like it's coming. And like I had these two guys, the older guys in front of me, like season ticket holders for like 35 years. It's something absurd. And they just like turn around, like just start laughing. I'm just like, it's just so typical. It was so beautiful, all perfectly set up. We got the fumble that we weren't supposed to get, pick, and it was almost a pick six too.
Yeah, but yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I remember that. Yep. So, hot takes for the NFC East. what you got, Ryan?
Can I just say that Dan Snyder's going to sell the team?
He wins. That's it.
And
I actually do have a really, really hot take. This is like flaming hot. Probably not going to happen, but crazy hot take. And Maui, it actually involves your team too with the NFC East. So my super aggressive, super hot take is that by about week 5, Kenny Pickett starts for the Steelers, and then they trade Mitch Trubisky to reunite with Daboll and the Giants.
Joe Montana Trubisky comes to East Rutherford, New Jersey,
and just takes over the NFC
East.
Damn, that's good.
That's salt, man.
Yes, sir.
Damn, that's good. I can't.
You know what? I'm gonna be so pissed because I've already got two. Like, I hate that because obviously I like Joe. You know, because obviously I call him Joe Montana, but Mitchell Joe Montana Trubisky, UNC guy, and then. There's a guy on the Eagles named Kevon Wallace. He went to the same high school as I did, but obviously, like Mackay, they went to school. Mackay, Becton, and Kevon Wallace went to school at the same school at the same time, same school I went to. And I root for him, but it's like not against us. So it's like, if my nephew Joe Montana Trubisky goes to the Giants, I'd be sick.
I told you, way out of left field, but like, just think about it.
Sick. I know, right? Wouldn't there be some crap?
Who tops that?
He wins. I can't. I can't win. I don't even know what to say. I'm trying to freestyle.
Get him some milk.
I guess I'm in my hot one, but like it can't be like that. Like I touched on it earlier, where it was like the Giants kind of control the division a little, and that's extremely interesting because that could possibly be
right. What I'm saying, bro.
But my hot take would be that the Cowboys finished last in the division.
Ooh, tell me more.
I'll play off of that. Ezekiel Elliott won't. I'm gonna do what my man did. Won't get Ezekiel Elliott won't get more than 700 yards this season.
That's what I like. Why is Dallas talked about?
Yeah, like
because they're Dallas.
So exactly. Since we're not talking about them, they're gonna sign AB. Watch.
Like I said, Stephen Jones be the adult in the room.
But
don't put that shit on.
It's so awkward where it's just the lamb and everything. It's just I don't know. Dallas can. Let's not forget Mike McCarthy's still at the helm. Like Mike McCarthy is.
He scares me. His eye crosses. I'm sorry. I never noticed that. That scares me. I'm like, hold on, what happened to his eye?
I'd hate to have a meeting with him.
Right. Oh my God.
But just for all the reasons that we talked about the other teams, there wasn't one time that we juiced up the Cowboys, and I think it's really because to what extent can you? Does Zeke go for the 2,000 yards again, or is it Dak being MVP that makes all his wideouts better? Is James Washington and Michael Gallup really the missing pieces across Lamb? Like, is Lamb even a wide receiver one? Does Diggs do what he did last year? I mean, Diggs got torched last year. We can look at interceptions all we want.
They're going to miss Amari Cooper more than you think.
And you know what's fun?
Before we get on that, that Alabama crime that was committed in that Dallas Washington game when Cam Sims, I was like, oh boy, I need a poster.
Hey,
I need a post on that one.
Them Cowboy fans been quiet too.
But
preseason and everything.
Hey,
they've been. Please tell me
y'all saw that highlight video on the Chargers Twitter of Trayvon Diggs literally with his back turned to the ball with Keenan Allen catching it over him.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
every day they got some type of footage where he's getting torched.
My man literally deleted his Twitter because he was getting roasted.
In his own camp was getting torched by the wide receiver 6s and 7s, which I get it. 1-and-1s is a little more made for the wideout to win, obviously. Like, I understand that. But, like, even if you put on the tape, there's a lot of times Diggs was smoked. The wideout may not have gotten the ball, but, like, all we look at is the interceptions. But we can throw on the tape, and Diggs is burned on damn near every single play.
And you got to still give him a little bit of his respect, though, because 11 picks in a season is crazy.
That's great.
It helps going up against, Heineke, Jalen Hurts, and Daniel Jones for 6 games. And then on top of that, our quarterback carousel. Like, it's just nobody wants to go in between the lines. They just like looking at the beautiful stat. Like, it's just sometimes you got to dig.
I know that time when he was wearing 27 and Terry went on him. Oh, I was like, we need to call the fire department.
That's when the cradle came out.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, oh. Yeah.
But that's exactly why. Even on their defense, like, listen, I love Micah. Like, I've gone out with him a couple times. Like, love Micah. And he's an absolute stud. He's a Cowboy at heart. Like, it's perfect for him. Yeah. But outside of him, it's just like vets who are playing 6 games max, maybe. It's just there's nothing around Dallas that is America's team.
Yeah, big facts.
Like,
I mean,
that hot take of them finishing last, I'm continuously just speaking that into my head here.
Yeah, that's affirmations. We need that. We're gonna say that. I'm gonna say that every morning when I wake up. Dallas will finish in 4th place in the NFC East. That's a daily affirmation. I'm gonna put that in a book.
I'll get that tatted if that happens.
Ooh, yes. So I got a hot take for you guys. It may not be as spicy as my guy Troy, but fellas, January 8th, 8:20. You guys got plans. Dallas versus Washington. For the last spot in the wild card, a special night. We're gonna party like it's 2012, potentially.
I'm good with
Sonny
that.
Jurgensen will be his jersey will be retired. It's gonna be a magical night at FedEx. Everybody needs to be there. We're gonna have obviously we're gonna have Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth on the call and talk about. Now here's a guy. So we'll be hearing here's a guy about 15 times. So that'll be the final game of the regular season. Is going to be the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders for that last spot in the NFC wild card. So you got plans on a Sunday night. So what's our girl Carrie Underwood?
Yeah,
we'll be waiting all day for Sunday night on January the 8th.
I'll be off until Tuesday. Already taking off work. I mean, it's like
right.
These guys.
Like, even just the joy of beating Dallas. Like, when Kerrigan got that strip sack that one time in DC, like, that return for a touchdown, that ass beating on Thanksgiving we gave him. Like, there's no better feeling. And then if you can just throw the cherry on top with Sonny, and then also to get in the playoffs.
I'm telling you.
I can't believe this.
I'd have to block myself on Twitter.
Right. And I'm telling you, it's I'm 37 years old, about to be 38. I'm telling you, Colt McCoy gave me one of the greatest birthday gifts I ever got in my life.
Monday night game.
Oh yes, on my 30th birthday, Colt McCoy went into Dallas and beat them. And I tell you what, oh my God, you talk about a birthday,
This
put a
is
cherry on a
crazy.
birthday.
I woke
To beat
everybody up in our
Dallas?
dorm room when that shit happened.
Yeah.
Justin and I were rooming together in college, and when that game was going on,
Now y'all making me feel old now because I'm talking about me being 30, y'all in college. Oh, now
I was hoping you didn't bring it up.
Sorry, I had
That's
to.
I mean,
That was the
lights like
Bashad
that,
Breeland
like,
game too.
yes,
that's the thing
Sean.
too. We've had the chances before, like
Yeah.
the Kirk Cousins against the Giants game. Like
Yep.
Wentz can be that guy where it's just his first year in DC.
Yep.
He can control how the fans talk about him, and I just think it's funny too. It's like we never know when he's doing well in practice because we only hear when he's throwing interceptions. So it's like
Yep.
every DC media is rooting against him. Yet if he goes out and just balls for us and win, especially if he beats Dallas in that last week to go to the playoffs,
Yep.
give him the keys.
Surprised you didn't want to give everybody a 20-minute breakdown on Jahan Dotson.
They're not ready for that.
You didn't give anybody, and no, not one word out of you about Jahan Dotson.
He's the best rookie wideout in the class.
We can find that out. We can find it out real quick.
He's got the best hands by far. He never dropped the ball past 20 yards. Like by far one of the. I don't know his exact 40-yard time, but I know it's probably a 4.2 something or 4.3, early 4.3. Like the offense is built for speed. I know we were talking earlier about not playing that superhero ball. There's going to be moments that there's going to be a chance where it's just like, yeah, let that toss it. Somebody's down there.
Yep. So, and it's funny to bring it up. So 2 weeks from tonight, we'll have the Bills versus the Rams on Thursday Night Football to start it off. And then NBC going to conclude their regular season coverage on January the 8th at 8:20 when the Dallas Cowboys come into town to face those Washington Commanders. So,
Oh, my God.
It's going to happen. Get ready. Have your supper late because you're going to be up all night. So, and we'll pack our bags. I'm thinking we may be going to Santa Clara potentially, but I'll talk about that next week.
That's
as far as that, but I'll just, we're going to Santa Clara maybe twice in 4 weeks, in 3 weeks potentially. But
what's crazy about that?
There's some good golf courses out there or something.
Huh?
I said there's some good golf courses out there or something. Good vacation homes.
Obviously we'll be going to San Francisco on Christmas Eve, and then I'm thinking maybe the third week in January we might be taking a trip down there and seeing old Cal again. So we shall see, but we'll talk about that next week when we talk about our playoff predictions and who's going to make it to the Super Bowl. But kind of gave you somewhat of a sneak preview of next week.
Oh, I'm going to be biased as hell. Damn this. He balling me this year. So, I usually be nice and try to be professional and say my vows and shit. He done triple team me.
So I'm smelling maybe a trip to Santa Clara. I'm thinking potentially. I'm not 100% sure. I'm maybe. I think either Santa Clara or maybe Green Bay. I haven't decided quite yet who's gonna be that second seed or whatever. But we'll label that point next week. So before we head on out, fellas, our NFC East record predictions. We'll go around the horn. Ryan, what you got?
Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. I mean, I feel like that's what it's just going to be, man.
Okay.
I think the Eagles are going to end up winning at 11-6. I'm going to say Washington gets in at 10-7. Dallas 9-8. Giants. I want to be nice just because I really think they are going to make the next step, but it's hard to say with Daniel Jones as the quarterback. But if Trubisky comes to town, put me at I'm going to say 7-10.
Okay. Oh, okay. We got
Justin. I really hate you because I think
God,
the exact actual records.
Gosh.
Like Philly 11-6, Commanders 10-7, Cowboys 9-8, Giants I said 5-12.
gosh,
I'm not gonna. It's really just because of how easy the Eagles and Commanders schedules are. Like it's just we just always have that 1-2 games where it's just like, what are we doing? But Yeah, take care of business this season. 10-7, 11-6 is very doable.
Yeah. Maui, what you got, Maui?
Damn near the same thing. I got
I think we
I got
all
Eagles 11-6. I got damn. So let me tell you, like I got the Commanders at 10-7, and I got them sweeping the Giants, but I got the Giants sweeping the Cowboys. So I
like
got
that.
I got the Cowboys at 9-8, and I got the Giants at 8-9.
Okay.
NFC Beast.
So I got to be consistent on kind of how I did the Sunday night game. So I got the Eagles winning this division at 10-7. So I think what's going to happen is Washington is going to end up being 10-7 as well by virtue of beating a 9-7 Dallas Cowboy team on Sunday night on January 8th. 2023, mark your calendars, get yourself ready, get your blankets, get your food out of the crock pot, all that, get that all ready on January 8th. So by virtue of us winning that game, 10-7, I think they're gonna win that game. So Dallas is 9-8, obviously because of that loss. And then I think the Giants will be 7-10. I think they'll take a leap up. So yeah, I think great minds think alike. Because I think this was ultimately going to potentially happen. It's just be consistent of kind of what kind of the Sunday night matchup that I think is going to potentially happen.
I think y'all gonna beat each other up. I think y'all gonna beat each other down.
Yeah, I think
that's exactly what every record except for the Giants, I think, will be almost the same. Like okay, that 11-6, like 9-8, 8-9 range maybe.
Yeah,
but the top three teams will be around that range.
Regardless, I'll even throw in the fourth, dude. I'll even throw in the fourth team. Not even if the records are different, between first and last is going to be like a 2-game, 3-game swing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's usually like that. I mean, like even
it is
going back to 2020.
And that's the interesting part. Why I said the Giants, as far as like a dark horse team, is just because there's so many games that they just lost with such a close point differential is right. A little like a little easy to switch, but it's also just like Daniel Jones. Can you do something? Like can you be that prospect for us? But again, I think the whole division is going to be so close because the last couple of weeks is just going to be a UFC fight night.
Pretty much.
And we're being nice to the Cowboys. And they might really stink. They might be the Patriots. They might be my 5-12. Like, we being nice.
We hope.
And
we really being nice.
It's going to be that Mike McCarthy and call up Sean Payton type off season for Jerry.
Right.
Because that's the thing too. It's almost like as weird as it is, like the KD and Nash situation with Dallas and McCarthy. Like that this whole offseason, how Dallas is going about with McCarthy, the whole DC situation, bringing him back and stuff, like they're kind of prepping him just to be like, okay, we're ready for you to fail so we can just like move on to the next guy. Like I really don't know if they fully believe in McCarthy.
I think it's a lot of players on that team. The only person I think they believe in is Micah.
Yeah.
And maybe even Lamb. I don't think they believed in Dak, and I think they believed in Zeke, but something is not right with Zeke. Something ain't there. Like, I don't know if because he got his money and he just like,
it's the line. I mean,
filet mignon so much better than New York strip.
It's the line, and it's Jerry Jones's influence because Jerry Jones is in love with Zeke. Every press conference, Jerry Jones says some bullshit about Zeke.
You got to remember too, though, how easy it was running behind that line. Like the season DeMarco Murray had. Like every time, the cat. Like it's easy having that. When you have a top 2 line in the league like that, and you're just a little elusive as a back. Like that's why I think Pollard could take over that offense because Pollard's a little better as far as a receiving back.
He is, but I think he talk about because he know the potential. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like Zeke is weak. He's been, I believe he still got potential. He still could be a dog if he want to, but I think he a prima donna. I think them days is over with. He looks like one of those type of people say, why am I gonna keep running so hard and keep getting hit when I keep getting hurt? I want to live my life after football.
probably also looking at Amari Cooper saying, all right, like you just paid him and you just traded him. Like I'm probably next. Like
Right.
I think Zeke sees the writing on the wall, but the issue is Zeke's doing the writing.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah. So we'll put a bow on the best division in the NFL. So
Oh my God.
before we head on out, so fellas, we'll go around the horn. Social media in the upcoming project. What you got going on? I'm gonna start with you first. Trot, what you got?
You already know the deal, man. Find us at the Weekly Audible on Twitter. Very, very, very active when it comes to NFL, NBA. You want to talk to us? Find us on there, man. You want to talk to me? Trotter_331. You can find me on Twitter. I'm always active as there on there as well. Weekly Audible, our podcast. We're going to be kicking things back up really, really, really soon here with the NFL starting, NBA kicking off in a month and a half as well. So be on the lookout for us. Be on the lookout for our content. You guys are always welcome. You already know that. So
Yeah,
always looking for the future collabs there as well. So really appreciate it.
yeah. Just let me know. I'm here. I'm there.
You know it.
Right.
And all right, what you got, Justin?
Yeah, it's J Mensch 8 there. Yeah, pretty much run the Audible podcast, the Twitter page at least there. So anytime you want to interact there, I'll be there. But currently working a little bit on a NBA piece just to go over the KD stuff. I gotta throw my input in that. And got a couple other nuggets to keep an eye on as far as trade deadline goes. So little things to look out for. But NFL's here. I just can't wait.
Donovan Mitchell to DC.
Oh God.
Should have been KD to DC. It's all good.
I'm hip.
Buy us 10. No, be quiet. Oh, stay out. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. But anyway, let me chill. All right, Mallory, what you got?
Man, great show, man. It's nice y'all being on here, man. It's great. Very influential. I hope y'all be able to come back, man. I really had a good time on here. Y'all woke me up.
Hey, man, whenever you want to do AFC North, I will gladly jump on and talk shit about the Ravens with you all day.
Oh, man, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I know
the
you're a
real
Steelers
Cleveland
fan, bro. I will gladly.
As I tell my buddies, the real Cleveland Browns. Ooh, they don't like that for some reason, man. That hits a nerve.
We beat them.
I did.
I'm tired of it.
I did go to the
Happy
Big
Ending
Ben's
Stadium
last game there in Baltimore. Here, I went to Big Ben's and got to witness that last win. So maybe I'm a part-time Steeler fan. I guess I can go by.
Man, I like y'all. Seriously. No, but Deshaun Morgan Facebook, DT Morgan 78 Instagram. You know what I mean? I think Twitter's coming, man. I'm hearing you guys talk. I would love to interact with you guys. I'm from Akron. So,
right.
I heard somebody say I have a quick LeBron story when he was probably like 11 or 12 that, big old box. I was older than him. And we was playing on a half court, and Buddy took the ball out. I was sticking LeBron. I didn't know who he was. My cousin set me up. I went forward. He hit me. He went forward. I followed him. He hit me with the quick shoulder. I ended up going this way. He went that way. They threw him the ball. He laid it up. And I said, man, what the hell? Oh, this dude think he going to the NBA. Who'd have thunk it? You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
But yeah.
That's sick. That's so sick.
Maybe he'll recruit you to the Lakers.
I'm good. I'm
They
good.
need all the
actually.
help. They need all the help they can get, man.
Cause I'm ignorant. I probably be chasing Jenny Bus. You like chicken wings? I heard you like chicken wings. Hey, I've been watching the documentaries, man. It seems like they like to keep everything in the house. So my bad, coach. My bad. I had to take a moment.
Good. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, on the Couch Coach Live. Check out the podcast anyway. Get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, we're there. Also, the other show, Commanders in the Chat. We're back this Friday, 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. Definitely check them out. And then I definitely got to get you guys on there. One of these Friday nights, potentially. We're still trying to iron out, but I think we're going to start doing those on Friday nights. So as the do some stuff with that. And we'll keep you guys posted as far as other stuff that we're going to do with that podcast as well. So Commanders in the Chat. And you also pretty much anywhere you get your social media, we're Commanders ITC. So that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So Commanders ITC. Obviously, Commanders in the Chat. So check that out. And so that's it. That wraps up our divisional previews. And definitely want to give a shout out to all the 32 teams that we did do a preview for. I will thank them. I think every 32 of those representatives that represent all 32 teams in the NFL. We got through it. We thugged it out. We started with the LA Rams, and then we ended with the Washington Commanders. So definitely huge shout out to those 32 individuals who came out and did the previews for that. So that concludes. We did our team previews that have ended. Our individual teams, our division previews have ended tonight, but we got one more show where we'll be giving out our awards next week. We'll do our awards, our wild cards, and who's going to take that. Who's going to be the two teams that are going to take that trip to Arizona for Super Bowl 57. So, yeah, man, and once again, another great show, you guys, and we catch you guys next week. And this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, and we out.
Appreciate it.